The SIG P365 changed concealed carry forever. When SIG released the original P365 in 2018, it broke every rule the industry believed about micro-compact pistols. 10+1 capacity in a single stack profile. A trigger that did not feel like a backup gun. Real sights. Real ergonomics. Real defensive capability in a package that disappeared under a t-shirt. For 7 years, the P365 family ruled the carry market. The original P365, the XL, the X Macro, the X Macro Comp. SIG pumped out variant after variant, and every one of them sold faster than the factories could make them. Walk into any gun store between 2019 and 2024, and there was a section of the wall dedicated entirely to P365 variants. Holster makers built their entire businesses around it. Trainers built curriculum around it. Reviewers built channels around it. Then something changed in 2026. Something the gun magazines have not covered. Something the major YouTube channels are pretending they do not notice. Something gun store counter guys whisper about when nobody from SIG is in the room. The P365 is being replaced. Not slowly, not someday, right now, by a single specific pistol that has quietly taken over the carry market while the rest of the industry was looking somewhere else. Today, we are going to tell you exactly which gun is doing it, why it is winning, and whether you should switch. This is the story nobody on YouTube is telling. Let's get into it. The P365, story until now. Before we get to the gun that is replacing it, we have to understand what made the P365 dominant in the first place. The P365 won on 3 things: capacity in a thin profile, trigger quality for the category, and the variant strategy. The capacity was revolutionary. Before the P365, micro-compact pistols held 6 or 7 rounds. The P365 held 10. The XL held 12. The X Macro held 17. SIG figured out how to stack rounds in a frame thinner than most competitors thought was physically possible, and every shooter who picked one up understood immediately that the rules had changed. The trigger was the second leg. SIG built a striker fire trigger that did not feel like garbage out of the box. It broke clean. The reset was tactile. You could actually shoot the gun well without spending $300 on aftermarket trigger components. And the variant strategy lets SIG dominate every subcategory at once. Need a true micro-compact? P365. Need a slightly bigger version? P365 XL? Need full-size capacity? P365 XDAGs. Macro. Need a compensated version? X Macro Comp. SIG had a gun for every carry profile, and they all shared magazines, holsters, and training carryovers. For 7 years, that combination was unbeatable. Then the rest of the industry caught up, and one specific competitor passed them. What went wrong for the P365? The P365 did not lose because SIG did anything obviously wrong. SIG kept building the gun. SIG kept releasing new variants. SIG kept their marketing strong. The P365 lost because 3 problems compounded over time, and the competition solved them. Problem 1. The reliability reputation. The original P365 had documented issues in early production: striker drag problems, roll pin failures, magazine ejection issues. SIG fixed all of it, and current production runs clean. But the firearms community has a long memory. Every time someone bought a P365 and had a hiccup, the story spread through forums and reviews and reinforced the reputation. By 2025, serious carriers were quietly looking for alternatives that did not come with 7 years of reliability footnotes. Problem 2. The trigger plateau. The P365 trigger was excellent in 2018. By 2026, it is no longer special. Competitors have caught up and passed it. The gun that was once the best shooting micro-compact is now firmly mid-pack in trigger quality. Problem 3. The price creeped up. The original P365 launched at around $500. The X Macro launched around $800. The X Macro Comp pushed $900. SIG kept stretching the platform up market, which left the door wide open for a competitor to come in underneath, with similar capability at a lower price. That is exactly what happened. One specific gun came into the market, undercut SIG on price, exceeded them on features, and matched them on capacity. And it has been quietly eating into P365 sales for the last 12 months while almost nobody noticed. The evidence. Nobody is showing you. Here's the data the major channels are not showing you. Talk to gun store counter guys in any state with active CCW culture. Texas, Florida, Arizona, Tennessee, Ohio. The story is identical everywhere. Customers who came in asking for a P365 by name are now leaving with a different gun. Customers who already own a P365 are coming back to trade it in. Holster makers report that orders for this specific competitor have surged in the last 6 months, while P365 orders have flattened. Look at the used market. Used P365s are sitting on shelves longer than they used to. 3 years ago, a used P365 was gone in a week at any major shop. In 2026, they are sitting for 3 or 4 weeks before they move. That is a leading indicator of buyer preference shifting. Look at concealed carry form activity. The most common new thread topic in 2025 was, should I get a P365 or the XL? In 2026, the most common new thread topic is, should I sell my P365 for this other gun? That is not a coincidence. That is a market shift happening in real time. So, which gun is doing it? The reveal. The pistol that is quietly replacing the SIG P365 in 2026 is the Springfield Hellcat Pro Comp OSP. Yes, the Hellcat. The same Springfield platform that everyone wrote off years ago when the original Hellcat had its early reliability questions. Springfield went back to the engineering room, fixed every legitimate complaint, and came back with the Hellcat Pro Comp OSP. And nobody saw it coming. Here is why it is winning. The Hellcat Pro Comp OSP holds 15+1 and a slide width of exactly 1 inch. The integrated compensator is machined directly into the slide, not bolted on as an attachment. The barrel is hammer forged. The factory trigger breaks at around 5 pounds with a flat face and a clean wall. Factory tritium front sight with a tactical rack rear sight that lets you charge the gun off your belt if you have to. Optics ready directly with the Hellcat footprint. Aggressive grip texture. Weight unloaded is just over 21 ounces. Compare that directly to the P365 X Macro Comp, which is the gun the Hellcat Pro Comp is taking sales from. The X Macro Comp holds 17+1. The Hellcat Pro Comp holds 15+1. 2 rounds is the only category where the SIG wins. Everywhere else, the Hellcat Pro Comp matches or beats it. The compensator is integrated more cleanly. The trigger is comparable. The factory sights are better. The grip locks in just as well. And here is the part that is driving the market shift. The Hellcat Pro Comp OSP sells for around $650 street price. The P365 X Macro Comp sells for around $900, $250 cheaper for 2 fewer rounds. That math is what is killing the P365 in 2026. Why this is happening now. The Hellcat Pro Comp did not just appear out of nowhere. Springfield has been working on this exact pistol since 2022, and they timed the release perfectly. Springfield watched the P365 family climb the price ladder for 4 years. They watched SIG stretch the platform from $500 to $900. And they identified the gap that opened up in the market. Carriers who wanted compensated performance, optics ready, 15+1 capacity, and a single-inch wide profile, but who could not justify spending $900 on a SIG. Springfield built the Hellcat Pro Comp OSP specifically to live in that gap. And it has been eating the X Macro Comp's lunch ever since it hit the market. The Hellcat Pro Comp also benefits from something nobody talks about. Springfield's reliability reputation has quietly rehabilitated over the last 3 years. Current production Hellcats run cleaner than the originals. The platform has been refined. Trainers who refuse to recommend the original Hellcat are now putting current production guns through the curriculum without complaints. Police agencies have begun adopting the platform for backup gun roles. The institutional trust is being rebuilt, one carry permit at a time. Combined 15+1 capacity, integrated compensator, optics-ready, hammer-forged barrel, tritium sights, and a $250 price advantage. And you have the exact gun that quietly replaces a market leader. Not by being revolutionary, by being significantly better value for the same job. Should you switch? Here's the honest answer. If you already own a P365 and it runs reliably and you train with it regularly, do not switch. The best carry gun is the one you train with the most. Trading a familiar platform for a marginally better one is not worth the retraining cost unless something is actually broken. If you are shopping for your first compensated micro-compact carry pistol in 2026, the Hellcat ProComp OSP is the strongest value play on the market. You get $900 gun performance for $650. If you are a P365X macro comp owner who is on the fence about whether to switch, the only reason to do it is if you genuinely value the $250 price difference more than the 2 rounds of capacity. That is your personal math. Run it honestly. If you are a trainer or instructor evaluating what to recommend to new carriers in 2026, the Hellcat ProComp OSP should be on the recommendation list. Not because it is dramatically better than the P365, but because it gives carriers a legitimate alternative at a lower price point without sacrificing critical features. The P365 is not dead. SIG is not going out of business. The P365 family will continue to sell. But the days of the P365 being the unquestioned default answer for compensated micro-compact carry are over. The Hellcat ProComp OSP killed that conversation in 2026. The carry market shifts faster than most shooters realize. 5 years ago, the P365 was the answer. In 2026, the answer changed. By 2028, it will probably change again. What stays constant is the work, training, carrying every day, practicing draws, running drills, putting in the hours. The gun is one part of a system that you build over years of effort. The right gun matters less than the consistent training behind it. If this video showed you something the rest of YouTube is not covering, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more honest market analysis on the carry world. Drop a comment telling us what you carry, whether you have already made the switch, or whether you are sticking with your P365. The SIG P365 was the king. The Springfield Hellcat ProComp OSP is the gun quietly taking the crown. Now you know. Stay safe, stay trained, and stay a responsible gun owner.